YouTube, this is Bill Code here, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about how to remove U-joints. U-joints will have two issues. Either they'll be rusted into the yokes, or it'll fail so bad, like a lube failure, to where the crosses come through and expanded the cups to where you can't get them out. So you can buy Tiger Tool, get them out if you want, or most of the time your main U-joint failure is going to be the input for the front drive. Well, how you can do that without a Tiger Tool? With a bottle jack. You put a bottle jack underneath the drive line on the weld yoke and the weld. You do not put this on the drive line tube. So with the drive line, or the rear end yoke vertical, drive line yoke horizontal, you put that jack and you jack that up about an inch or two. Then you take your hammer, you whack the yoke, and that'll pop up. So you don't have to beat on the drive line. Use that bottle jack. Once that pops up, you take your handy dandy puller, put it on there, and you push the bottom one out. So there is a way that you can very easily remove drive shafts from the rear end yokes, or you can even do it a transmission yoke. Probably a little more difficult with the center bearing yoke. A little more give there with the cushion on the center bearing. Now the other way to take and remove these suckers, either rusted in or belled out, is just take a torch, cut that section of all this part off of the weld here with your plate and your cap. Just cut it with a torch, take your chisel, pop all your plates off. Then take your torch, go down through there, cut the cross. You cut the cross here, then, and you have your, say you have your the rear end yoke horizontal, drive line yokes vertical. That'll drop right down through the yoke on the rear end. Then you just take the two caps, push them in, falls apart, take the yoke, take the yoke down there on the drive line, and then cut those where you cut the cross out of the drive line. Then just take the caps, push them in, and it's a very easy way to deal with either rusted or caps that have been expanded on the ends. That way you're able to salvage yokes. Sometimes even the cross will eat all the way through the cap and into the yoke. Well, at times you can still take and do it that way. You push the caps in the inside. You can still, in an emergency, reuse the yoke, the drive line, get going, even though it's kind of worn into. So that is a process that makes U-joints very easy on the road. And you can even do them with these new really large size U-joints they're using now. You just take, they got the snap rings, just cut the crosses out, snap ring out, push the caps through the yoke, and it's easy. Clean the yoke, put a new ones in, and you don't have to take it out, do a big press or anything like that. Now, one thing that's been a game changer is this thing here, this big nasty. You take, I mean, it just makes U-joints so easy. You torch it, cut it out, take this, push the caps in. You're not beating yourself to death. Now this tool here, through all my years, this is a tool I wished I had years and years ago. This thing for a truck mechanic, especially for a roadside guy, and probably even for you equipment guy too, this thing is game changer, because what you want to do, as much as possible, you want to eliminate using the BFH. You just want to try to not even do that thing anymore. This thing here, you take a drag link, take that, you take your nuts off. That just pushes that drag link out so fast. You don't have to worry about taking and getting the turning the front wheels to where that you know, you got to get a swinging room to get that one that's attached to the oh, what's the name of it? The arm for the rear end, for the knuckle arm. So that thing, man, that tool's so good. I used to do a lot of bud studs, especially with inboard drums. You'd have to take the whole hub and drum off, knock out the broken studs, put them in. I built this, would use this, wear my shoulder out, started using this. That was a whole lot easier than using this, but now it's all replaced, one little tool. So make sure you got a lot of air to it. And one thing I want to mention is, think of stuck and rusted bolts, shafts. Used to do equalizer bolts. Man, those son of a bitches were in there tight, rusted. So when you're confronted with bolts that go through bushings, or the one I can really think of was the old Kenworth 8-bag suspension, where you had 8 long bolts going through steel end caps and an aluminum center, they would get corroded. So with this thing, think along the lines, whenever you're dealing with something that's rusted, whether it's a shaft, whether it's a bolt, of taking, welding on a bolt on the back, taking and getting you have a bunch of pipes, put that on there, take and exert as much pulling tension on what you're trying to remove, then come in with this guy and push. Now you've compounded your pressures and you've added the vibration. So there's so many things that I wished through all the years that I would have had this game-changing tool here. I can't think of another tool that would save so much body wear and tear, especially when I'm dealing with old shoulders here, wore out shoulders. So if you can get your mind around the concept, like removing the U-joint, of having pressure going up, having pressure coming down, and having vibration, same thing here. Pressure going out, pressure coming in, vibration, to get hard things to move. So anyway, that's my little thought about U-joints. I hope it was beneficial. So thank you very much.